Hey friends, it's Farmer Jason again with more Virtual Farmer in the Classroom. In this video, we're going to learn about storage vegetables. Storage vegetables are very important in farming in Montana because we have a super long winter. And during that winter, we can't grow a lot of food because it's just too cold outside. So storage vegetables are the kind of things that we grow so that we can eat them during the winter time without having to store them in a special way like we do a lot of our food. If you look in your refrigerator or your cabinet or your freezer at home, you're going to see lots of foods in there. Okay? These storage vegetables don't need to go in any of those spaces. There's special kind of vegetables that don't rot very quickly, so they don't need to be stored in the refrigerator, which is why we put stuff in there. It stays cold, makes it last longer. But a lot of these storage vegetables are things that we can grow here and we'll save them for later. That's what it means to store something. So let's learn a little bit about storage vegetables. Okay friends, let's talk about the different types of storage vegetables we grow in Montana. There's a lot of them because like I said, we have a short growing season and a long winter. So we want to grow lots of stuff that we can eat during the winter that we don't have to grow during the winter. So there's lots of special vegetables that we grow specifically because they store well. So, we're going to play a game. And we guys are going to guess to see if the storage vegetable I show you stores well because it has a thick, tough skin or because it has layers. So remember, a storage vegetable has to have one of those two things. So let's start with an easy one. How about these? These are onions, okay? You've probably eaten an onion in your life. You can look at them closely here in this picture. Do they have thick, tough skin or layers? And onions have layers, lots and lots of layers. If you guys have ever seen the movie Shrek, you may have learned this from Shrek. Much like an ogre, an onion has lots of layers. Okay? And you can see in this picture that those papery layers on the outside are thinner than the thicker ones inside. And those papery layers are the ones that we don't eat, but are the ones that protect the food inside. It's almost like it has its own like brown paper bag, like maybe you bring your lunch to school in a brown paper bag that protects your food. Okay, that's exactly what's happening here on these onions. So how about this one? These are potatoes. Potatoes, thick, tough skin or layers? I'm gonna say thick, tough skin. Okay, potatoes have a particularly thick skin and it's very tough. Okay? Some people don't like to eat it, even though it's got lots of nutrients in that part of the potato. And that thick, tough skin protects the potato inside, but you can also eat the skin. Unlike the onion, where we didn't eat the papery outside skin, on a potato, you can eat that skin. Potatoes are a super important food for us to eat. Okay, what about this one? This is probably something you don't eat every day, but you've probably eaten it lots of times in your life. This is cabbage. We have a purple cabbage and a green cabbage. What do we think? Thick, tough skin or layers? It is layers. Lots and lots and lots of layers. Look how cool that looks. Okay? And all of those layers inside here are actually leaves. They're individual leaves. And those layers, okay, protect the leaves inside. So you can keep your onion stored for a long time, or your cabbage stored for a long time. And the outside leaves might get a little gross, they might get a little moldy, they might start to rot a little bit, but what you can do, you just peel them off, and underneath, the leaves inside are still good to eat. So a very important storage crop for Montana. How about this one? Tomatoes. Thick, tough skin or layers? Oh, this one's a trick. Tomatoes are not a storage vegetable. As you can see right here, they rot pretty quickly, and I mentioned that earlier. Not something you'd want to try to keep for a long time, okay? Potatoes are soft, Their skin is pretty thin and not something that's going to last throughout the winter. But very important vegetable for Montana. How about these ones? These are ones you guys should know. You may have carved one of these. These are pumpkins and winter squash. Okay. These are a storage vegetable, not a trick question here. What do you think? Thick, tough skin or layers? You guys have cut them open, you've pulled out things from the inside, maybe when you carved a jack-o'-lantern, meaning it is a thick, tough skin, okay? On the inside, and you can see on this winter squash right here, which looks much like your pumpkin, okay? Because pumpkins are also winter squash. The orange stuff inside is what we want to eat, okay? And that tough green outside, which is hard to tell on a pumpkin because pumpkins are usually orange, and then the inside's orange, okay? It's hard to see that layer, but on this green squash right here, you can, okay? It's very thick, it's very hard, it's very tough. If you've ever knocked on your pumpkin, okay, it's a tough, hard thing, but the food inside is softer. And that's what we eat. We don't eat the skin on these. It'd be very, very tough. Wouldn't be very enjoyable to eat. Okay, how about this one? This one, you might not even know what it is. This is garlic, okay? It looks a lot like those onions we had earlier because it's a cousin of onions. That's kind of a hint. So what do you think? Thick, tough skin or layers? It is layers, but a little bit different than the onion. Okay. It still has the papery outside, which we don't eat, okay? But it also has a harder papery inside right here around these small things, which are called garlic cloves, and that's what we eat. That's the softer portion inside. Similar to the onion, not exactly the same, but definitely the layers are what make it a storage vegetable. So, those are some of the storage vegetables we grow in Montana. Not all of them, there's lots of things. Even apples could be considered a storage food, even though they're a fruit, not a vegetable. They will last a long time because they have a thick, tough skin as well. So there's lots of ways to store our foods here. It's not just stuff that we can put into a cool, dark place to stay good. We can can stuff, which we can see here. These are stuff we might buy at the grocery store in cans. We can do that at home, which is what these clear jars are. These are people canning stuff at home. We can freeze things. It's a great way to store vegetables that won't store on their own. And we can also dry stuff. This is some jerky down here. We can dry things and they'll stay good. We don't just do that with meat. We can do it with fruits. You guys have maybe had fruit leather or dried apples or something like that. We do that with vegetables as well. Next month, Farmer Lori will come and talk to you guys about apples. Okay? We'll learn about apples, where they're grown, how they're grown, and we'll see you soon.